Welcome, everyone. I wanted to share a glimpse of the sanctuary here at Redeemer New Paltz, where even though we couldn't gather in person, we still transformed things last night as part of the Easter Vigil. I shared the Easter Vigil words or message as part of saying hello on Easter morning. So this actually is the message from Easter morning that now you'll be hearing on Easter. This is so confusing. Don't worry. Anyway, here's the message. The first day of Easter looked pretty different this year, didn't it? Online worship, no breakfast. No church breakfast or Easter egg hunts. No in-person opportunity to shake hands or hug, fill the church sanctuary with our cries of Christ is risen indeed. The events that have unfolded in the last month probably make every one of us see our lives and things around us at least somewhat, if not radically differently than we did before, including this first and now second day of the Easter season. I imagine something similar might have been happening for Mary Magdalene and the other Mary on that first Easter morning in Luke's version of the gospel story. As they headed to Jesus' tomb, the sun was rising, and then the very ground beneath their feet that they expected to be solid was suddenly shaking. Then they discover an angel by an empty tomb who had the powers that be of that time, the guards shaking where they stood and then fleeing. And the angel said this crazy statement to them that Jesus would soon repeat. Do not be afraid. The ground is shaking beneath you. There's an empty tomb. Do not be afraid. And the angel explains that Jesus has been raised and tells them to run, spread this good news. And then, even as they're running to do just that, they bump into Jesus himself. Can you imagine their joy? So maybe if it feels like the very earth beneath our feet is moving and everything around us is looking pretty scary, we should start expecting angels and Jesus to bump into us. Do not be afraid is not just a comforting phrase, though it can be that. Do not be afraid, when contextualized with the Easter reality of Jesus' resurrection, becomes the battle cry of our lives. Do not be afraid, we say to one another at our virtual church gatherings, and do not be afraid, we say to everyone around us who we meet in person or virtually. Do not be afraid, for this world looks so very different, but it is still guarded and watched over by a God who sent his only Son to die and be resurrected so that suffering and anguish will not be the end of the story. And the resurrected life to come is just beginning. Do not be afraid. And happy Easter, everyone. Happy Easter, for Christ is risen. Christ is risen indeed. Alleluia. Till the next time.